Lazivo likes to talk about life while he's shooting people in the face. Lazivo.
What is going on, everybody? It's Lazivo here again, and I don't know why I'm so excited right now to tell you about the second time I almost died. I think you guys liked the first part of this series, so I'm going to keep going with it. Like I said, it's in the spirit of Halloween. Everybody's fascinated with death, so let's talk about the times I almost died. Now, the second time might not seem as serious as the first time. So, summarizing the first one, I got punctured in the wrists pretty badly by a fence, and it was a near miss for me. The second time around, nothing really happened. I didn't get physically injured, but this one probably scared me more. And so, fast forward in my life to up to high school. It's after a football game. So, typical thing after a football game, you pile everybody in one car. I don't know if this is still the case, but this is what it was when I was in high school. We jam into one car, like, as many people as you can fit. You know, there's like 7 people in a Honda Accord that my buddy's got. And we're going to Taco Bell, a little late night Taco Bell run. And the nearest Taco Bell, grew up in a small town, so the nearest Taco Bell was like, I don't know, 25 minutes from where our high school was. So we all pile in this car. It's my buddy's Honda Accord. And I remember I go to get in the passenger side, and he said, "Oh, the passenger side door doesn't work. It won't open." I was like, "Oh, that's weird." But like when you're in high school, you don't care. Like your cars are like pieces of shit. And nobody cares. They're just happy to have a car, you know? And as long as it runs and gets you where you gotta go, nobody cares. And hey, if somebody else is driving and buying gas, that's better, right? Better for me. So we all pile in the driver's side door, and I'm a bigger guy, so normally I get the front seat. But in this case, like, it was harder for me to climb into the front seat than it was for me to just hop in the back from the driver's door. You know, I would have had to like climb over the center console, and in a Honda Accord, it's not the easiest thing in the world. So my buddy's girlfriend goes in the front seat, and like 4 of us pile in the back seat. So there's like 3 across, and one girl was laying across our lap in the back seat. And so I think that puts the total of 6 people in a Honda Accord. Just remember this for later. So we're on our way to Taco Bell, and like I said, it's about a 20-25 minute drive, and we get about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes into it, and his little battery light comes on the dash. Now this is like right out of driver's training. I think I'm like, 16 years old, 17 years old, and I remember them telling you when the battery light comes on, that means you've lost half of your electrical power. I was like, okay, well, maybe the battery's going dead or something, At this time, I didn't know much about cars, so I remember it being bad, but I said, hey, let's just get to Taco Bell, and then we'll figure out what's going on with your car. Like, we're already halfway there, might as well keep going. It takes just as much drive to turn around and go back, so he's like, okay, I'll just keep pushing forward. So we keep driving, and maybe another minute goes by, two minutes maybe, and we notice his headlights start to dim. And I'm like, this is not good. So I said, okay, turn around and get back to, like, there was like an Ace Hardware right there. I said, turn around and get back to that Ace Hardware that was like, half a mile behind us. And so we're on a 2-lane road, and it's one of the busier roads in my town, right? It's 2 lanes, speed limit's 55, and he goes to turn it around, but he does it on a curve, okay? So he makes like a left turn, and we're on a curve, and as he's making the turn, like I said, headlights are dimming, dashboard is dimming, all the lights in the car, we are losing power and losing it quickly. And as he's making this left turn, there's a guardrail right there. And so he's gonna have to make like a 3-point turn where you come up, stop, and then put it in reverse. Well, we come up, there's a guardrail right there, there's no shoulder to the road, we're on a curve, it's 11 o'clock, midnight, something like that, and the car completely dies. So we are sitting, like, there's no shoulder, we are touching a guardrail, we are across the oncoming traffic lane, and the car is dead stopped. And we're on a curve. And I'm thinking right now that people fly on this road. Speed limit's 55, not uncommon for people to do 65. And I look up and see headlights. And immediately, they say your life flashes before your eyes. And at this point it does, because I am on the passenger side of the car with two people next to me and a girl across my lap. The passenger side door does not work. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, you know, how much this is going to hurt when I get blasted by whatever car is coming around the corner in pitch black that can't see us. There's not a lot of time for him to react. And I just remember watching those headlights, and it just goes in slow motion. Like, I froze because there's no way I could have even gotten out of the car. And even if I did, it might have been worse for me. So I'm sitting there watching these headlights come at me. And, my life's flashing before my eyes, and I remember it just being quiet. I think maybe it's the same thing was happening for everybody. You know, we just expected to just get T-boned in the worst way because, like I said, people fly. The amount of time that this car would have seen us before we get hit was not very long, and so we just kind of sat there and braced for impact. And I remember I saw the headlights, and as soon as they came around the corner, they were so close to us, and I just knew they couldn't see us. We had no lights. Our battery was completely dead, and he slammed on the brakes. I heard tires squealing, and about a foot away from the car, it actually came to a stop. And I don't know what stopped the guy's car. I don't know. Like, again, call this like divine intervention or what, good luck, whatever you want to call it. I was absolutely scared to death. This guy slams on the brakes, stops about a foot away from the car, and we're just all in the car just freaking out. And finally my buddy, like, the car that stops turns on his four-way, you know, hazards, and we all pile out of the driver's side door. I'm just freaked out at this point. I realize like how close we came to being in just a horrific accident. And to make matters worse, there was a Camaro that almost hit us. And the guy that gets out of the Camaro, he's with his buddy, and they were coming from the bar. You could just smell booze all over them. Like, they are clearly intoxicated, and they are like, "Whoa, we almost destroyed you guys." And they're like, you know, what are you doing in the middle of the road? Like, we're trying to explain to them what happened. Like, we had car trouble. We tried to turn around. We got stuck in the road, and you know, it blew them away. I don't know what caused them to see us and stop. I think about that now when I'm driving at night. Like, you don't expect, you know, how many times if you don't see any lights, you don't expect anybody to be there. I mean, you could be checking your phone, checking the radio. I mean, there could be 1,000 things that happen, like, where you're not paying enough attention to stop. So whatever, and on top of that, the guy was drunk. So I don't know. I felt like in that moment, I clearly could have died. I was probably more frightened there because there was an awareness. Maybe it's because I was older, but there was an awareness of the situation before anything happened, and it really was like time slows down, and like your life flashes before your eyes. It really does, and you know, maybe not every moment, but like you start to really reflect on the things of the past. I don't know. It's a strange feeling. But like I said, in that moment, I didn't get physically injured, but I was probably more frightened. Maybe there was just more time to realize what was happening. But it felt like I was, you know, gonna be in a plane crash, and I just knew it was coming. You know, that's the feeling that I had. I just know it's coming, and there's nothing I can do about it. And it was pretty terrifying. And so I consider that the second time I almost died. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I know there's a couple more times I almost died, so I'm going to keep going with this. I hope you guys like it, and you know, thanks for listening.